Yeah.
Today's guest is Ria Richardson, Vice President at Etter+Ramli for Global Managed Success of Oracle and NetSuite customers. She's a leader who's built her career through resilience, reinvention, and a sharp understanding of the people and industries she serves. In this conversation, we'll unpack her journey, the lessons learned along the way, what she sees changing in her space, and how technology, especially AI, is going to reshape the future. We'll also talk honestly about growth, what drives it, what stalls it, and what it really takes to sustain it. Ria, welcome.
Thank you, Chris, for having me. I'm delighted.
Oh, so am I.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to take us back to the beginning. What path led you into the industry you're in today?
Oh, yeah. So good question. So let me take the memory lane.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so I was always into selling. I think even when I was a young girl, you can imagine like everybody, my neighbors always telling me that I can even sell a broken glass. So that time, that was like 1996. And where I graduated, and there are only two profitable or lucrative career that I can take during the time when I was in Manila, Philippines. Right now, I'm in Seattle. I migrated 5 years ago, but it was either you become a nurse and migrate you to US and earn the dollars, or you enter the bandwagon of technology, IT. And so, yeah, I decided to just go for technology because I am not. I don't think that I can really like master the work of a nurse or a doctor. So
Sure.
yeah, and since that time, I realized that the thing that really fulfills me is to make sure that I am of value to whether you're a small customer or a large customer like Procter and Gamble or a mom and pop shop. I really enjoy. I'm curious to know your challenges today and where you are at. And I want to see myself becoming your stairway to any success, whether it's a small progress or it's a large one. I feel that my heart supports that, that timeline with my customers. So, yeah, business solutions, I think, is for me 31 years.
31 years. When you look back, was there, you think, a defining moment where you realized this is where I'm supposed to be?
Defining moment, I can actually categorize this into two ways. The defining moment is how I help my parents. That's a defining moment for me. There are a lot of careers I've seen. My friends took like this job, being a lawyer, being an accountant or finance. And I've seen the progression of my career was so, I can say, very fast in terms of how much do you really want to help your loved ones? That's one. That's a defining moment because not only materially, but also physically, like I was able to really help my parents, gave them, maids in Asia, got them beautiful houses and cars. And I was able to give a lot of quality time using this career of mine, right? Sales, marketing, in the tech. Now, another defining moment is the way your name is being mentioned everywhere, right? Like, defining moment for me is when a CEO of a small and medium enterprise say, "You're my champion," or a large corporation with, let's say, 480 branches around the world. That was Jollibee, for example. I can say that because they're really like part of the Oracle NetSuite growth
That sounds
public.
good right now.
Yeah, and Chicken Joy and cheeseburger and spaghetti. I know everybody can relate, right? So
Love it.
I always use that as my defining moment as well because companies like that always have a hiccup, right? Whether it's warehouse or production or sales or the executive level, there will always be a problem. And for you to be able to one by one solve it, like check it, even on paper, is really a defining moment for me and the team that I'm with. So yeah,
No, I
brings me
appreciate you.
happiness.
Thanks for answering that question. When you talked about your career kind of taking off, I was just thinking though that, every successful person, they always do have their seasons where, they're not seeing much progress though, even though you maybe did a fast track, right? What were some of those seasons for you? What did that look like?
Oh, it was hard. No, when you have been granted the opportunity to win at a very young age, when I was 20, 22, 23, companies just call me and poach me. In Asia, there's always this word that pirated.
Mm,
Korea was pirated again, and I had that opportunity, in the 1990s, 2000s, and it was hard because there are two things that can happen to a person, and it happened to me. First is you get to be so comfortable with success, right? That, oh, I'm the swagger, or I can sell 100 logos in a year because I did that to the other company. But when you choose another software or platform, it's different. You really have to be one with the product, right? For example, if I was in IBM, I was in IBM before, and the cloud is still a myth. I was doing the proposals of hardware, software together with the services. That is actually the cloud now, right? All encompassing. But during the time in IBM, 2006, 2007, cloud is still not born, 2000, yeah, 2005. It's still just being conceptualized. And a multinational high tech like IBM sells the servers. It sells the physical, like the refrigeration kind of servers where you see in all the banks. And then when I transferred to let's say a storage company, it's a EMC or Microsoft, it's another different level of business solution. So it was hard for me to really understand my audience, my new audience, the product itself. I remember I'm sent to a lot of center of excellence schools, Singapore, US, Boston, just to be with, a mentor locked in a room for 2 weeks, just to extract our brains and make sure that we understand the product. And then here comes the selling part, like the first 90 days, 120 days. And then you see yourself like, why am I not selling fast as my last time? Maybe because you were selling to a small businessman. Now you're selling to the top Fortune 100 corporation. So that is where the pain and the struggle comes in. But if you see it now, that's massive growth for a person. That's
yeah,
growth. But it's
yeah,
painful. It's hard.
yeah. My next question for you was kind of related to that, about if there was ever really a point where you had to reinvent yourself professionally. It sounds like some of those career transitions could have been in that category. Were there any others that come to mind to you?
Yeah, when it comes to you have to like reinvention of
Mm,
yourself as a sales executive. Oh, yes, actually, it comes every day. The reinvention never stops. Oh, how do I say this? The reinvention has to be embedded in you because there are moments or there are weeks that your campaigns or your strategy is not working or are not working. So to me, when you say reinvention, you have to be quickly pivoting, right? Like, for example, for lead generation, I'll say, for example, I've got like 16 styles or tones that are with me. And if I'm not flexible to receive such critical feedback from my internal boss or even from the client, because the client responds back to you, right? And some clients will really tell you that, you got me at this product, but your approach is, you know, it's not a perfect world. So I have to innovate. I have to pivot. The emotions are there. And I really see that, especially now in this highly, highly competitive world. We all know that if you are sensitive, your staying power is not going to stay, right? You'll always like wake up demotivated and sad just because you don't know how to reinvent or pivot.
so you're saying, yeah, the act of pivoting or reinventing yourself really is a daily task
It's a
for
daily. Oh,
for
I'm
people who
not.
want
I'm
to
not
last.
over exaggerating it, but
Yeah.
there is a reinventing yourself in a small, piece, and there's a large piece that you have to reinvent or change,
Yeah.
your way. But to me, I have to have it in me to reinvent myself, yeah, as often as possible.
What do you what do people misunderstand about building a reputation in your industry?
That that is easy. I remember one of my boss,
You make
one
it
of my
look easy
greatest
so they
bosses
think it's
in
easy.
yeah in Oracle NetSuite. When I was leaving the position, he told everybody who wants it, because a lot of people are like calling HR and telling, I want Ria's role. When I was the leader, the director for channel sales, new logos and all this, right? It was big in the Philippines then in NetSuite headquarters. And there are a lot of people who's already calling the HR just because they heard, not confirmed, that I might be leaving the role. And then the HR and even the GM of Asia said, she makes it look easy. Do not be fooled. Ria's role is so hard that if you want to have a lot of friends, or you drink every night, or you want to 8 hours of sleep or 9 hours of sleep, the role is not like that. She just makes it look very easy. And she made a lot of sacrifices to herself, right? And I don't know if the family will support you, but Ria's family supported her all throughout, right?
Yeah.
So so to me, to answer your question, that is the most, I think, common misunderstanding, that taking a role sales, that the revenue quota is on your shoulders, and when you don't hit it, bye bye. You know, it's
Yes.
threatening.
Yeah, it
So
certainly is.
yeah, so it's not easy as it seems.
Well, that sounds like a very big compliment to you and the way that you operate or have operated in the past too. When someone says that you make it look easy, right?
Yeah.
That's great.
And I have 3,500 reasons why it's not easy.
There you go. Let's talk about some industry insights from someone outside your world. What are they missing about the industry you serve?
Outside my world of business solutions selling.
Yeah,
Uh, are you talking about more of the outside world, or the customers, or other industries?
I think other industries maybe. I'm just wondering if there's anything that, maybe something going on in your industry that they're not seeing that would be helpful to know about.
Okay, so let us take the very recent massive news. Okay, the industry is not the same anymore. Before, I know you can relate. During the early 2000, when people are asking where you want to go, where you want to be, or you want to research and ask Google what's the most compensated, highest compensation there is, it will be technology sales, right? So that was before. But now what I see, and what is really happening, is that the technology sales career now is being very unsteady. So just last week, 2 weeks ago, Oracle's in the news, laid off 18% of their workforce globally. That is almost 20%, and that is massive. 30,000 RIAs, like who's working there, don't have a job. At 6 a.m. in the morning, they just receive an email, not even an HRD, not even their manager, formally telling them that you have to prepare for 2 to 3 months. This is a 6 a.m. letter email that you're gone. Your Slack and everything, your email is just gone. So, to answer your question, if you are outside the industry, this technology sales sounds so glamorous, smells so good and sexy. It's probably for me the most dangerous zone you
Mhm.
can imagine right now. So to me, if you are a, let's say, fresh graduate, or somebody who's dreaming about, going inside a Microsoft, IBM, Salesforce kind of, environment, I think you have to think twice.
Oh, very interesting. For
Yeah.
you, like according to you, what trends are changing the game right now? What is it that's making that happen?
It's a lot of funding AI data centers, the multinational corporation, it's in Yahoo Finance, it's in the news, right? That these major giants are really betting billions of dollars to build the AI infrastructure. Well, those are the data centers, right? And to me, of course, we cannot blame them because AI is life. It's like AI is already like for speed and efficiency. So just to give you an example, I know a person, an accounting manager or and in the team, like processed hundreds of thousands of sales orders. And the errors are just happening left and right because it's manual, right? Being done. And AI can just do it repeatedly without our accounting, finance, the transaction people,
Yeah.
and can do it fast in 5 minutes. 40 to 60% will be very efficient, or 90%. And if you are, let's say, Bill Gates, if you're the boss of that unit, wouldn't you like to have that speed and efficiency? And you are not even receiving like, oh, I'm going to a holiday, or I have PTO, or I'm under the weather and not go to office and do
Just
and have backlog.
24/7.
AI will not even have the mood, the mood
Yeah.
swings.
Yeah.
So that is
Yeah.
that part. However, what I see as well is there are a lot of executives now are somehow not really losing their job, but committing big errors because they let the artificial intelligence, right? Disbursing $500,000 to wrong vendors just because they automated it and didn't really put a prompt that before you even release it, you know, notify Ria and I will say if it's pending, reject, or approve. It's still a human call.
Yes. Yes. Wow. So kind of, I guess, backtracking a little bit, we talked about reinvention a little bit in careers. Like, what do you th- what do you see as the biggest opportunities? Because we don't we don't want to just point at problems, right? We want to think about solutions. What would you say is like the right pivots right now for someone like you? How do you confront this?
Oh, yeah. So I've been thinking about this like for so many months.
I'm sure.
Like I am a sales executive, the revenue growth is on my shoulders, customer acquisitions a lot, marketing, engaging people, so that the company will be bigger than today. So that's really my role. I told myself I have to be, if you are in this level of, let's say, your mastery, let's say, if Chris is a master of, let's say, negotiations, right?
Thank you.
You have to, you have to be going to an elite level. If you're on the second or third like staircase, you have to make sure that you go up that ladder of mastery and be considered an elite in terms of
Mhm.
that expertise. Because whatever I put outside my articles on LinkedIn or my tactical ebooks, like how to negotiate like a pro, how to negotiate against all these big cloud ERP software companies, artificial intelligence is already copying it, right? Like in one, I just prompt ChatGPT or Gemini and tell, why is Ria Richardson a legit negotiator of Oracle NetSuite? All of a sudden, 3 minutes, I get a narrative, right? And even AI knows where I came from. Epicenter of Manila, 31 years, married, the husband support. I am just so shocked that, oh, she knows. It knows.
Mhm.
So to answer your question, I should be working harder for AI not to chase that mastery, so that I can stay very valuable and I will have that. I always call it like the I AI can win in some point, but they cannot win the hearts of the CEOs. The heart is very important. I know when I enter a room, I sniff, I smell things that AI wouldn't cannot smell. I mean, if you know what I mean, I can sense that there's tension in the room. I can sense that, for example, the VP is not a fan of, let's say, my software. AI cannot take that kind of call that spirit in the room. AI cannot leverage that. I can
Yeah.
very quickly. So you have to be in that elite level wherein you're not just calculating things, right? You are strategizing and putting the emotions of all the stakeholders that you're dealing with into your architecture of negotiation. And it's not just reading, because AI can read a lot. Everything that is the data is in the, she can read it and she can like balance, they give you the answer. However, the unspoken leverage, AI cannot get that. It's you, it's human who can extract that.
Yeah. I think that's really deep insights. When it reminded me of a conversation I was having with someone the other day, and they were telling me about kind of the new record attendances that they're getting at trade shows. And I think, if I was to kind of think deeply on it, part of the reason I feel is because we're becoming more and more and more tech heavy with AI. That human connection, like you saying, winning the hearts of people, that's not something that AI can do. It's going to become more commonplace that we all have the power of AI in our phone and we have the same knowledge base we can draw from. But our ability to communicate and our ability to have those interpersonal relationships, that's going to become more and more important. And that's
Yeah, that's
interesting for
golden.
an upcoming generation that's grown up on cell phones, right?
It,
They text so much.
yeah.
You look at teenagers and even adults too. But
Yeah.
you go anywhere and there's downtime and they're in their phone instead
I'm
of
guilty. We're
communication.
all guilty. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agree. But as you said, you're right. You know what I see? And I don't know if we will this we can, we can still witness this. It will reverse. Right now, AI is like the Louis Vuitton of the topic of everybody. It's like, oh,
The
I use
shiny new
the
toy.
AI,
Sure.
yeah. Knight shining armor, if you may call. AI is that. The human relationship, the heart, is taking the back seat, right? However, this is what I see. Companies will still need that human power, you know, to close a, let's say, $500 million deal and face a board as strict as, as you know, when you justify a $1 billion project to a board of directors sitting in front of you, like 12 of them, you think AI can just, hi everybody, and this is my, logic. And no, I mean, AI can probably present the data. If it's 900 pages, that's AI that worked for us, for me. But the human, they call it that human power of convincing the board of directors to sign off that particular project, that is going to be that expensive, person who among the executives can just run a deal like that, just win it. It's not going to be AI. So if
I
I
agree.
to us, the CEO and CFOs won't talk to anybody. They won't go to a Hell's Kitchen or Gordon Ramsay restaurant and meet an AI just because I want to establish rapport with you for this $1 million project. So to me, I will continue to, well, two things. First, make sure that go back to basics, right? Go back to basic. Make sure that whatever you do in the morning with your clients, with your family and friends, your good intention is always there. I always actually start meetings, with my customer, that I just remind everybody that everything that is going to be laid out in this meeting, whether it's a recommendation, if it's done in with good intentions.
Yeah. That's powerful.
Because people are coming in my meeting left and right, from warehouse, production, I don't even know them. And they're probably, for sure, when they go into the meeting or the Zoom call, their feelings will always be, oh, who's this girl? She's new. Oh, from Oracle. Oh, 30 years. Oh, so what is she doing with the proposal, recommendation, or evaluation? They probably have that in their heart, that is she an enemy or neutral
Mm.
or for us, right? So we always have to make sure that the persons and the team that you're working with knows that they are safe with you. Safe.
Hmm.
After that, you will automatically see the egos, that feeling of everybody's just having this kind, you know that, right? That this expression
Mm.
of indifference, when you say that piece and paint the big picture that it's all for everybody's win, they will like, you'll see them, they're like in a very relaxed state and smile, and collaboration, transparency just flows. So I think that's one way of dealing with things right now, because it's just a crazy world. You don't even know if your manager is up against you.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to you having that high level of communication skill where you can notice those things in people, those interpersonal skills that you've honed over years for sure.
It is developed over time. So don't rush. To me, imagine my 31 years of experience, I could have quit because it's hard. Quotas are just thrown at my face week after week. And I don't know if I get the whole market, if I will, attain the quota 100% or just 30%. And you will be in front of these VPs of, of sales, or clad in black, and, like Wall Street Journal, and telling you that you didn't make the mark or the quota. So this is the PIP, and goodbye next week. And that's why I said, now we don't have to fear, for as long as you know that what you're telling your customers and your people and your boss is based on that what is right. You're not doing you're not going to the wrong path. Like, this is what we need to do, right? Because this is right. And when you're right, and right for your customer, I think the universe loves it. It will just bless you.
There you go. I love that viewpoint. That's great. Ria, tell me, what are you focused on growing right now? I want to kind of move to growth. And I know you kind of talked about, growth has cost you some
Pains.
personally and professionally of sacrifices you had to make.
Yeah.
But like right now, what are you focused on growing?
I want to grow with my client 100%. When I was on the other side of the sales role, like I was with the vendor, like with Oracle or Microsoft, my focus was win, win, win. Add revenue, add revenue, add revenue,
Hmm.
right? I'm like a robot. I was like an AI, a living AI that I'm called inside this glass, 70 or 34th floor of a nice building, right? In a center of business district. And you need to sell. Go
Yeah.
out and sell. So whatever happens, my mind and my soul is, I need to sell and add dollars on paper, right? Even when I'm already in bed, that is here in me. It's like a nightmare. I think
Just
about,
wouldn't go to sleep.
post-its.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, because that is the sales role that I've taken for years, 20 plus 25 years. Now, when you ask me about growth, I am on the other side of the fence. I am not working now. I'm very independent for Oracle NetSuite. I don't get any commissions, no paychecks. I'm not even going to Maui this year plus one because I won the
No
top seller
presidential.
award. I
Jeez.
don't have that right now. What I have is the interest of the Oracle NetSuite user customer. I am like a lawyer to them. I make sure that I have extra eyes, and that 28, 30 years of deep knowledge on how the commercial, the pricing works, and where the hidden traps are before you sign off. I want to grow with them to make sure that two things. You won't overspend, Mr. CFO, right? And two, and the other one is, aside from you don't overspend, you have to make sure, Mr. CFO, that you're signing all the modules you need and not being forced by the, SaaS sellers and bundling something that you don't really need. Because to me, that won't really make you productive. That will eat your cash flow because it's thousands of money, 20,000, 100,000, half million. And instead of that money, immediate savings, you put it on, a promotion of a certain, top person in your company who wants to leave, or R&D, research and development. Put another 25,000 to, for example, a team building needed by the whole, members, right? It's a money that you can put into a more practical solution than spending it and not using the software. because it's just bundle. That's the software game, actually.
It's very interesting. So where you were on the vendor side before selling to potential users of
Yes,
Oracle NetSuite, now you are advocating for the customers of
customer
Oracle
advocate.
NetSuite using the knowledge that you gained here on
Yes,
the vendor
yes, an
side.
insider. Like you're an insider. And it's not just Oracle NetSuite. I was also with Microsoft. I learned a lot from Mike. Mike, when you are actually inside that Microsoft building, man, you are dealing with people who are, I don't know how brilliant they are when it comes to, running the business, the operations, running distributors around the world. It's just a very different stage, and IBM as well. These are powerful, like a phenomenon in your life, right? That will really like be in your nerves until probably I die. That's how I think. That's how they made me think and discipline myself.
So now that you're on the other side of it and you're helping and advocating for these end users, I guess help me understand a little bit about that model. So you are finding new end users constantly, and
Yes.
then you offer them the services of advocating on their behalf.
Yeah.
How is how does, like, compensation work on that? Is it like a flat fee? Is it a retainer? Is it a
Oh, yeah, I
project?
understand. Yeah. So I am with Etter+Ramli. It's a boutique consulting firm, advisory firm. From my CEO, founder to me, to all my specialist consultants are Oracle NetSuite specialists, not Microsoft, not Salesforce. No, we came from the Oracle NetSuite. We were the managers of Oracle NetSuite before, like employee. We have the ID badge, but we left Oracle NetSuite as an employee, and now we are not, we're an employee of at Etter+Ramli. We are the team, but we just love the NetSuite, the system cloud ERP so much. And we know it by heart, that we stayed in the system. The money compensation is coming from the company, Etter+Ramli. But a lot of that, the whole revenue that Etter+Ramli makes is coming from the customer end user.
Yeah. So
It's not
they're
coming from the Oracle,
yeah.
principal
So
vendor.
got it. So they are paying Etta Ramley as the consultant advisory firm.
Yes, to be unbiased and honest.
Got it. To help them specifically with Oracle NetSuite
Sweet, yeah.
savings
Not only savings, but even
implementation.
running the system. So you can imagine, like, you have your system as a, let's say, as a founder, you're an owner, and you have all these systems, right? So, and you don't know how to run it, the accounting, the finance, CRM, and you will just hire. We're like a full-time employee of the companies. We are inside there, the password, the whole environment,
Yeah.
and we run it
Got
every
it.
minute for them.
Help me understand, like, what size of a company would be a good fit for you and your team.
Yeah, so I see a lot between, 50 employees who are really like running accounting, finance, warehouse, whatever unit they have, mostly financials and accounting. 50 employees up to 300, 1,000 employees who are just running like chickens, and don't know
And
what to do.
got it. And they are already like your potential clients already have Oracle NetSuite, is that right? Like they're already integrated with it. They already know what they're doing there. Got it.
They do their lead generation, their order to cash, the fulfillment. That's their screen every day, the Oracle
Got it.
NetSuite. And also the type of revenue companies that is a fit to my business now, it's going to be $10 million to 300, 500 million revenue. Actually, the point here is, sometimes it's not really the revenue of the company. The question is that company, do you have an Oracle NetSuite, a NetSuite resource, an expert to run that very expensive system? And the answer normally is no. The CFO is a CFO and very hectic with her CFO role and CIO role, and is not to administer the system fluidly. So they need me and my people.
Got it. So you're like a very specialized operator of it. You know exactly how to do it.
Operator.
Come in,
Yes,
set them
yes,
up, get them
specialized
running.
operator.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. Okay. Yeah, that's how I guess how big is that market? You know, every time I talk to companies and they're talking about their total addressable market, their TAM, right? What does
Yeah.
that look like for you? So you're looking at 10,000,000 up to 100, even 500,000,000 types in
Oh,
that
to to
tranche?
eas to easily like look at the metric.
Mhm.
Let's look at NetSuite. So around the world, NetSuite companies, organizations are around 40 plus thousand companies. So just get the, 1%, 3%, 4% of that.
Then
That
you're
is
fine.
going to make me not sleep to operate those systems. So it's not that super huge addressable market. But to have an ambition of having a, just 100 NetSuite, customers, and we're
Yeah,
inside them. We're like a
yeah.
full-time employee running it and saving them. That's so good. Yeah.
And is it typically like, you're going to be there and you're helping train one of their internal employees to become that person, or is
We're the one doing
is
it
it a
for them and
long-term
they're
thing?
there. So they see how I do it, right? With the software.
Mhm.
Like for example, you are the CFO or the accounting head. And I am the specialist on that system on finance and accounting. So you have me as your quarterback every day. We work. So if you want some PO processing or, account payables, we have 100 account payables today. So I can do it for you just because you are not familiar with the nuts and bolts of NetSuite. But you will learn after a week, after a month, because you will see how I do it, what I click.
I see.
Right? And yeah, we have that training and enable. So, and we empower the
Yeah,
users to utilize and be productive instead of just sitting there and just telling, the boss that, oh, I cannot even open a workflow or I'm stuck, and you know what? Deadlines are coming every minute that you need to send a proposal or attach a code or work at, assemblies. If you're a manufacturing, you need to know your inventory every day. So we are the ones who can make that happen for you. Give the grunt work to us so you can decide as a manager.
yeah. It's very fascinating. That's fascinating what you do. Um, Kinda in closing, I just wanna talk about a couple of personal things, like, what are you better at now than 5 years ago?
My patience.
I love it.
Yeah, it's patience. I think the
Okay.
saying that you are more patient with when you are maturing. Yeah, you can really see that, as you age.
Mm,
So I I know when to stop talking. I know when the meeting is going a little bit, like there's a lot of palpitations. I know when to add or when to subtract. Yeah, and to just sleep on it. Just like this afternoon, I'm talking to a CFO, 50 branches in 50 states, 300 pharmacy, branches, and we're already on the, 10 state tension, right? Negotiating on the contracts. And the last word that I said to him, which he appreciated, I said, "We don't need to act right now. I mean, what I'm telling you right now are just ideas. Like it's a road that we can take. Take this, take two, take this third road. But we can sleep on it this weekend. You don't rush. You don't rush. Rush is this software, this contract, like all this quota chasing, it's just too noisy and too wrong for you to be chased by like a person like me before. I call you every 15 minutes or every Saturday. I remember like my boss will always ask me, "Ria, here's the proposal." And I said, "It's Christmas." "No, you have to go to the address, to the home address of the city and ask him to sign." Man, I went to the house gate and that was like an IBM training. All of us, Christmas. And I remember I had catering, spaghetti and all, and my family's waiting for me. In 16 hours, I'm on the phone. My phone just crashed. And just because it's our year end in IBM, December 31, and all of the sellers, managers like me are out there knocking on the door, the gates of the CIOs. And I just couldn't believe it. So,
that's
but I mean,
wild.
looking at it right now, I realize what it looks like, what is a good thing to the eyes of your customers and what is not the so good thing,
Yeah.
that will be turned off. So now I apply that, right? I apply that no, there's,
Crazy.
I was told, no rush, you can sleep on it and just talk on Monday.
Yeah. So it's true that corporations have no soul, right?
Oh my, I don't know where my soul went.
Wow. That is
Yeah, but
wild.
now I regained. So that's why I'm saying
Uh,
the growth, since
yeah.
this topic, the podcast is the pain, the struggles, and growth. And everybody, I don't think there's a person in this world who have not suffered to grow, whatever growth you are, chasing. So I just realized that, thank you for, I really thank, God and, whoever my angels are for me to be put in that catastrophic, youth, youth years, entering the corporate, real corporate, not small corporates. These are the ones who actually dictates the, the fuel prices of, what we have right now, right? For you to be in that midst of the action, and now that I am independent advisor, I will not be as what do you call that, as valued by my customer if I really didn't experience that
Have that.
commotion.
Yeah. The insights you have are
Oh,
pretty
now I
incredible.
can clearly say that it can happen. You can lose your husband tomorrow or file a divorce just because I've seen it happening with all of my high roller VPs, because they're always in DC, in about, New York. They travel a lot. No time for the children and for the husband.
Yeah, it's a value system, right? Like, depends on your value system. That's
Yeah,
sad.
it's like you right now. You are more relaxed. You're
I'm more
taking the
relaxed
road
being at
less
a pretty
travel.
big corporate. Yeah, yep, for sure. Well, Ria, this has been a refreshing conversation, man. I appreciate your passion and excitement for what you do and keep doing and the road that you've trodden to get here. It's been a really great conversation with you. For anyone who might be interested in getting in touch with you, what's the best way?
Oh, you can just look up at my LinkedIn, Ria Rodriguez Richardson, or Ria RIA at etterramli.com. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Ria.
Thank you so much, Chris. And I hope you enjoyed and have a good day,
Hey, you do the same.
everybody. Bye bye.